on this episode of Lifeguard. A large and powerful swell creates dangerous conditions for surfers in San Diego.
3 Sam, we have a surfer trapped south of Wind and Sea at Pump House. Closest units make contact. Additional units stand by for further instructions.
So we're just trying to figure out the best, most safe, effective route to get to him.
While in Long Beach
Lifeguard Rescue Boat 4, we copy that.
lifeguards scramble their resources for a boat and truck underwater.
When you first see something, you're trying to figure out what you have, and then when you see it's car in the water, your first thing is, okay, are there people in the water?
Then, in Ocean Beach,
2 jumpers, south side.
Jumping off the pier is not safe. That's why we don't allow it.
lifeguards race to find 2 jumpers before it's too late. And in Huntington Beach,
It was a puncture wound. My biggest concern about the patient was loss of blood.
My first instinct is that he probably had cut an artery in his arm.
We're losing him. We're losing him.
the lifeguards of Southern California protect over 400 miles of coastline. And nothing impacts their day like the weather.
As lifeguards, a lot of us are amateur meteorologists.
Good weather brings a lot of excitement, a lot of action.
On these beaches, lifeguards are the first responders.
I have a 911 call for distress swimmer.
I like those exciting days where you don't really know what's going to happen.
Dispatch, the person injured on a vessel.
They are there to save you. They are there to lifeguard. Southern California is home to some of the best weather on the planet, and today is no different. With clear skies and temperatures in the upper 70s, it's a perfect day at the beach. But over 6,000 miles across the Pacific Ocean, a giant storm has formed off the coast of New Zealand. Its 80-mile-an-hour winds have whipped the ocean into a frenzy, creating giant waves and a powerful swell. And this swell is large enough to generate waves upwards of 40 feet high. These enormous waves are a nightmare to most, but for competitors at the Billabong Pro Surf Contest in Tahiti, their arrival is treated as a blessing. The pro surfers shred the giant walls of water with incredible skill.
That's the 40-footer.
Beyond Tahiti, the swell roars across the Pacific like a runaway freight train. Its destination, the coastline of Southern California. San Diego lifeguard Sergeant Ed Harris has been tracking the storm since it began.
This is one of our rare big summer swells. You know, we don't often get big swells like this time of the year.
The swell will hit San Diego from the south and is predicted to create surf 10 times larger than normal for this time of year.
Been surfing here for about 35 years, and I don't think I've ever seen a summer swell quite this powerful and long interval, good swell.
The surfers welcome the conditions with open arms, but the lifeguards know that big surf means big danger. This is Wind and Sea, a San Diego hotspot that's notorious for consistent surf and rocky terrain. The lifeguards know that when the waves are this big, Wind and Sea draws a crowd, both in the water and on the beach. Sergeant Harris and his team of lifeguards have settled in and are watching the water for hazardous rip currents, surfers in trouble, or anything else suspicious.
All the guards here are seasoned. You know, they don't work Wind and Sea without being seasoned veterans.
John Maher is a professional surfer and a lifeguard.
We have a big swell, and it's creating quite a bit of dangerous surf. It makes for an exciting and fun work day, that's for sure.
As predicted, today's waves at Wind and Sea are topping out at 20 feet, and the lifeguards are on high alert, because with waves this strong, things can escalate rapidly.
3 Sam, we have a surfer trapped south of Wind and Sea at Pump House. Closest units make contact. Additional units stand by for further instructions.
A surfer is in danger near the rocks, and the lifeguards immediately dispatch resources.
The area that he was coming in, the waves are hitting right up against the rocks, so we didn't have an area that was safe for him to exit the water at.
Equipped with fins and a rescue buoy, lifeguard Brian Crane is first on scene.
Directly in front of me was a really rocky area. Set waves were washing up over on the rock and then coming up through the rocks. So it was just trying to figure out the best, most safe, effective route to get to him.
In high seas, the flat rocks are incredibly dangerous. Moss that is formed on the rocks is wet and slick as black ice. The surfer is in a hazardous location, but lifeguard Crane must enter the water to attempt a rescue.
I could tell he talked to me and said he was in a bad spot.
3 SAM to dispatch, 1 unit in water, 1 unit standby for backup.
As I was going underneath the wave, pulling him, we were both getting pulled back. Never take the ocean for granted. It's so strong and powerful.
Lifeguard Crane and the surfer try desperately to make their way to safety, but there is no clear way out.
We were both tired at that point, and initially I thought it was just a 2-wave set. So it was just trying to figure out whether we should come in or go out.
With the difficulty of this rescue, additional lifeguards carefully monitor the situation and are prepared to leap in at any moment. With the intense waves, lifeguard Crane now realizes bringing the victim toward the shore is too dangerous. He must get out beyond the breaking waves. Sergeant Harris radios to a patrolling personal watercraft for backup. Lifeguard Terrence Sawtell was piloting Jet 1.
3 SAM to Jet 1. Need backup at Pump House. Copy, Jet 1 en route.
When we have the big swells, we like to patrol all of the La Jolla area to make sure, see if there's anybody who needs our help. And we were just sitting in the channel at Big Rock when they said that there was a rescue at Pump House, which is an area at Windansea. So we started driving towards Pump House and trying to see what we could do to help out.
As Jet 1 races toward Windansea, lifeguard Crane has but a few moments before another set of large waves will pummel both he and the victim.
I kind of realized that there was a jet ski out there, and I could hear my other lifeguards yelling to me, telling me to go take him out. So that was going to be our best bet from there.
Lifeguard Sawtell carefully maneuvers Jet 1 into the thundering surf.
So the challenge is trying to get inside far enough that we can get the victim and the rescuer onto the back of the sled while still avoiding the swells that are consistently coming in. Those sets that we were having were 8 to 10 wave sets at a time, and so there's really not much time to get in and get out, especially being in close proximity to the beach. It's difficult to take too much white water in there because you're getting pushed back the whole time. The other thing is the surfer, the victim, he was pretty highly fatigued. And so trying to get them to do anything on their own, getting themselves onto the back of the sled is very difficult. So those take seconds, and seconds in those situations are pretty critical.
Jet 1 brings lifeguard Crane and the victim out of the dangers of Pump House and drops them near the sandy shore.
Jet 1 to 3 SAM. Pump House victim safely delivered to Windansea Beach. Please advise.
At last, after 20 agonizing minutes, lifeguard Brian Crane and the trapped surfer are out of the water.
This was the most difficult rescue I've ever had. Just, the size of the waves, the things you have to take, into consideration, rocks, skis, personnel, entry points, how to get in, how to get out.
Safely back on dry land, surfer George Gavitt reunites with some concerned friends.
When I was up there, glad you made it. I saw you, I was like, that's you see what happened my board? I saw the whole, yeah, they got it. I grabbed it, it's in, yeah.
It was brutal. That's the scariest surfing experience of my life.
And you were like waving off like, no, no, no. And
that was the international call for help.
Oh, I thought you were saying you were good. I was like, oh man.
So I came in too far on a wave and got caught on the inside. Lifeguard saved my life.
Welcome to Huntington Beach, California. This beach town has adopted the title of Surf City, and it's easy to see why. With over 8 miles of beachfront and 16 million visitors per year, someone has to keep all those people safe.
My name is Todd Bartlett. I'm a Marine Safety Officer for the City of Huntington Beach, and I'm about ready to start my patrol. Another beautiful day in Huntington. Currently, it's about 70 degrees out. It's just a beautiful day, no wind, just a little bit of coastal haze, and we have a pretty large groundswell. It's producing some surf in the 6 to 10 foot range. The best part of my job is that I get to work outside, and my main goal is to help people. What happened?
My fin's hitting super hard.
Oh, yeah, like a big, deep bruise? Yeah, yeah.
My arm's going like
Really numb? Right on. Here, we gotta get you an ice pack. Have you ever had any problems with your arm before, or nothing? Did you crack any fins or anything like that? Right off a lifeguard when I was 18 and kind of been here ever since. I think you just got a stinger, bro. I don't think it's that big of a deal. My oldest brother became a lifeguard, so I kind of followed in his path, and we both are still here today.
Todd Bartlett is patrolling just north of the pier when an emergency call comes in from the far end of the beach.
5020 information, a bystander called from Tower 22, and Guard Elster is requesting paramedics.
Okay, we just received a call for a medical aid at our tower number 22. Guard's down there all by himself, signaling code 2. It's not routine, and it's not life-threatening, but we need to get there as soon as we can.
Matthew Elser is the first lifeguard on scene.
When I first saw the injury, it was a puncture wound. My biggest concern about the patient was loss of blood, as well as the victim going into shock.
Todd Bartlett arrives to assist lifeguard Elser within 4 minutes.
52-20-97.
His training has taught him to convey a calm demeanor in times of stress.
Are you cold, my friend? Yes. Okay, I'll get you a blanket.
The 13-year-old boy has cut his arm during a surf lesson.
I saw him get barreled and the wave came over and kind of washed him out. And then I saw him pop up from the whitewash and I saw that something was wrong. I ran up there and I noticed that he was squirting blood with every heartbeat. My first instinct is that he probably had cut an artery in his arm.
The first assessment was he was breathing, he was looking around. That's always a good sign for us, but we had to really stop the bleeding. Go ahead and just put the blanket around him, please. Okay, thanks.
The boy's father waits anxiously by his side, while lifeguard Matthew Elser applies pressure to the wound.
Tide's getting higher too. We might consider moving him up too a little bit. He looked really scared. You could see he was really anxious.
Oh.
His eyes were just full of fear. So I was concerned about that. Okay, we'll lay him down. We're gonna lay him down.
We're losing him.
It's okay.
We're losing him.
It's okay, we got it. It's okay.
You'll be okay, baby. You're okay.
It's okay, buddy.
You're okay, Ryan.
You're okay. Got him to his feet, probably a little bit too quickly, and he started to faint on us. At that point, first concern was getting him breathing. Hey, Ryan, I want to put this mask over your face, okay? It's gonna help you breathe a little bit, okay?
Hang in there, Ryan. You'll be all right.
Did you have any other injuries? Did the board hit your stomach or your back or anything like that? No. Okay, and then how long were you guys in the water for?
A couple of hours.
Oh, good. So at least you got a couple waves in, huh?
Yeah, I got one.
Were you able to make a fist?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell me what finger I'm grabbing?
Yeah. Left from the pinky.
Oh, you're really good. Okay, perfect. All right. So you're doing good. That's a good sign then, okay? I'm just gonna try to clean some of the blood off your arm for you, okay? What city you guys live in?
Houston.
Oh, Houston. Oh, you guys on vacation or?
Yeah.
How's the water? Is it cold?
Yeah, it's pretty cold.
Pretty cold, huh? Yeah, no.
Basically, he was in shock. He was freezing cold. He was shaking, shivering. Our little blankets weren't doing enough to maintain his body temperature.
Paramedics are called in to transport the victim to the hospital.
How's your hands doing? Just really freezing? Okay. Hey guys, how you doing? So we went to transport him. He kind of started fainting a little bit, so I wanted to leave him out here. This is Ryan. He was out surfing. All right. His dad's right here. Okay. Pretty good sized cut on his right arm there.
Looks like it stopped quite a bit.
I saw myself in him because I had an injury pretty similar to that where I actually put a surfboard fin in my leg. I pulled the fin out, so I sympathized with him. I kind of knew what he was going through. You guys want to go head in or feet in?
We'll go feet in.
Okay, perfect.
While paramedics prepare to take the victim off the beach, lifeguard Elser cleans up the boy's blood, and Todd Bartlett discovers how the cut happened.
Where he just kind of came behind it with his arm like this, and just hit it right here, and just pulled it right off.
Whew. Yeah,
so
that's pretty impressive.
Poor little guy.
He was so amped to go surfing. That's like why he came out here.
Yeah, from Houston, right?
Yeah. Like I gave him a lesson last year, and he had such a good time. His dad brought him out today for this weekend just to surf. So.
He was a young kid. He was probably a teenager. Dad said he was out here on vacation. He just got the plane last night. First thing this morning, he came down to the beach to go for surf. So, unfortunately, it happens. And surfing's a dangerous sport, but it's also very rewarding too. So, kind of comes with the territory.
In Long Beach, sunshine and a slight breeze bring out thousands of pleasure boaters. And busy boat ramps mean a busy day for the lifeguards of the Long Beach Fire Department.
I'm Robert Hamilton. I'm a rescue boat operator. Today's weather's 75 degrees, wind speed about 10 to 20 miles an hour. We're looking for big crowds today. We're looking for busy boating traffic, a lot of beach crowds, a lot of beach patrons. It's going to be an exciting day. Craig, Sector LA, Long Beach Lifeguard Rescue Boat 4. We copied that traffic. We are in that area. We'll take that on.
Robert and his deckhand, John Berg, will spend much of the day patrolling inside the city's harbor, searching for boaters in distress. But out here in Long Beach, you never know what you'll find.
Not sure exactly what we have yet. Possible car in the water at Davies. Oh, it looks like we got a car and trailer. When you first see something, you're trying to figure out what you have, and then when you see it's car in a water trailer, your first thing is, okay, are there people in the water?
I entered the water and had enough visibility to be able to see into the cab. The window was down, a small space, the cab. I was able to ascertain there was nobody in the vehicle at that time.
Nobody inside, everything's okay.
Fire, this is Rescue Boat 4.
Copy.
This is a vehicle that was launching his boat. His truck and trailer and boat are all together in the water. We're gonna send some divers down to tie it up and have the trailer or the truck driver pull it out of the water.
Copy.
As lifeguards prepare to dive to the sunken truck, the anxious owner disconnects his boat from the trailer.
Hey, I don't want you taking that off. I don't want you to. Stop. Turn your boat off. I don't want you to disconnect it at this point. And where is your trailer? Right. How are you going to get this back on the trailer now is my question to you. All right, does your boat start right now?
Yeah.
Okay, go take it to the dock, and then I need get your registration with you and the driver's license. You were backing down and it got slippery?
Yeah, back down. We need to go truck, go to the ball, it's up down. But I up down, he got up. Truck, everything.
Is it still in reverse right now? Maybe?
Maybe.
Accidents, that's why you have insurance, right?
Yeah.
Tell me you have insurance.
As the tow truck arrives, an amused crowd gathers on the boat ramp.
He was trying to pull his boat out of the water, and his outdrive was down. So we started screaming and yelling for him to stop because his outdrive was hitting the concrete there. So he jumps out of the truck. He didn't set his brakes or put the truck in gear. He came and jumped into the boat, and everything started sliding to the ocean.
Still okay?
The truck? No.
Not okay?
The truck's in trouble. It's gonna need to go to the truck hospital. They gotta fix it. The mechanic's gonna have to really get on that.
Once the pickup is successfully out of the water, the boat is placed back on the trailer and towed out as well. As expected, the damage to the truck is substantial. But to the surprise of the lifeguards, the boat is also completely full of water and must be drained immediately.
Apparently he had a plug or something he didn't fill, so now he's got water been coming into his boat the whole time as well as his car now. So he's having a real wet day.
With a missing plug resulting in a hole by the boat's prop, it's probably a good thing it never got too far from land. This accident is turning out to be a blessing in disguise.
Fortunately, he sunk here at the dock and not out to sea. Without those plugs, the boat's sinking. Had they gone out to sea, that boat sank. You got all these women and children on board. We have a whole different situation on our hands. So the guy, in one way, is relatively lucky that he sunk his car here on the ramp instead of his boat out to sea with his kids in the water.
In San Diego, the tail end of a large swell is still pumping in solid surf. Ocean Beach, at the south end of the coast, is preparing for a large crowd today.
The sun is out, came out really early this morning. We still have quite a bit of surf in the water today, and we're expecting a big beach crowd because it's warm inland, the sun's out, and that just draws all the people to the beach.
Like many beaches in Southern California, Ocean Beach has a signature pier. And with today's strong surf, lifeguards will be watching the pier for anything out of the ordinary.
Two pier jumpers outside catching the swing. Multicolored shorts, black long sleeve rash guard. The other one green top surfboard.
There's a report of 2 jumpers that jumped off the pier, which is an illegal activity. The sergeant's already responding in his unit, and then we've got a jet ski in the water that's also going to make a meet and escort those guys into the beach. That's an automatic ticket.
Lifeguard Lonnie Stevens pilots a personal watercraft to locate the pier jumpers.
A lot of surfers tend to not want to paddle out through the breaking waves because that's physically challenging. If you walk on top of the pier and jump in, you're instant access.
Lifeguard Stevens quickly IDs the pier jumpers and orders them into the shore, where lifeguards Sergeant Dave Rains and Randy Culler are waiting.
So you jump off the pier? Yeah, man, I'm actually not from here. And I saw a couple of lifeguards doing it the other day, so.
Okay. In the grand scheme of things, jumping off the pier is not safe. That's why we don't allow it. Yeah, the distance ranges from about 15 feet towards the low part, all the way to about 40 at the tip of the pier.
The first day we arrived here, we walked checking out the place. Yeah. Lifeguards ran past, jumping off the pier.
All right.
So, like, we didn't see there a problem in jumping off the pier.
Well, we drive on the beach. Do you see a problem maybe if you drive your car on the beach?
Yeah, sorry, we're not from here. Like, there is like no sign there. We read there that said no jumping. We saw lifeguards doing it, so we really were unaware. So
yeah,
we were fully unaware.
Their explanation was that they had seen some lifeguards a few days ago jump off the pier, which we do fairly frequently for training. But of course, we are very cautious about it.
Like, maybe we haven't seen other people doing it, so maybe we shouldn't have done it, but we really didn't, like, there was no, like, we weren't aware at all that you're not allowed to do it.
Turns out they were from out of the country. They were sorry. They didn't really realize that they were doing that much wrong. With that in mind, it really didn't warrant any further action than a warning.
Thanks a lot about that, and sorry again.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
All right, gents, no worries.
Yeah,
Good
cool.
afternoon.
Enjoy your day. Thanks so much. They just let us off the hook because we didn't know the rules and stuff, so we're pretty lucky about that one, hey?
On this episode of Lifeguard, the weather in San Diego is heating up and crowds are flocking to the beach.
We got a lot of people on the beach today. It's a very sunny day. We're busier than normal.
More people mean more rescues. Starting at Wind and Sea, where lifeguards rush to medevac an injured surfer.
If they had moved their neck even a quarter of an inch either direction, then they could have been paralyzed.
While at Mission Beach, the lifeguards race against time to locate a young man fighting to stay above water.
There was a very severe glare, and if we can't see the victim, then we can't rescue him.
And when the day comes to a close, a swimmer is reported missing.
We call it the golden hour for someone to have a chance to be revived.
But they're racing against both time and the sunset.
We have a general direction, but we have no real knowledge of whether he went to some direction unknown to us. So the area was expansive.
Then, a deep water rescue that lifeguards won't soon forget.
Most time fatalities, you find them on the bottom, so I was concentrating on looking on the bottom. But as I turned, something caught my eye, and I looked up, and the individual was suspended above me about 10 feet.
The lifeguards of Southern California protect over 400 miles of coastline. And nothing impacts their day like the weather.
As lifeguards, a lot of us are amateur meteorologists.
Good weather brings a lot of excitement, a lot of action.
On these beaches, lifeguards are the first responders.
I have a 911 call of a distressed swimmer.
I like those exciting days where you don't really know what's going to happen.
Dispatch, a person injured on a vessel.
They are there to save you. They are there to lifeguard. In a typical Southern California summer, sunshine is never in short supply. And the rays beating down on San Diego today have temperatures going up. Way up. This is something Lifeguard Sergeant Ed Harris has been keeping an eye on.
We got a lot of people on the beach today. It's a very sunny day. It's very hot inland. It's 100 degrees. It feels like it's probably 80 plus on the coast. And it's a weekend and there's swell. So all those combined for weather mean that we're busier than normal.
The waves at Wind and Sea Beach are packed. However, all the lifeguards here know that when the waves are crowded, danger is just around the corner.
Wind and Sea to 3 Sam. We have a surfer accident. 2 parties collided in the water. One was injured. He's out of the water. Possible head and neck injuries. We will be taking C-spine precautions.
Lifeguards do a lot of C-spine. We do, at every beach, we do several every summer. And it's something we train for hard, both in the water and outside the water, just because of the consequences for not doing it right are really catastrophic.
Sergeant Harris begins to make his way to Wind and Sea, one of many areas under the command of the San Diego Lifeguard veteran.
You know, I grew up in Orange County, going to the beach 25 cents a day on the Orange County transit bus, you know, with my brothers and my brother, and you know, spent a lot of time in aquatics, in the pool and stuff like that. I was 18 years old, I joined the Marines. And while I was in the Marines, I taught water survival. I was a scuba instructor and a water survival instructor. In order to be comfortable doing the job that we do, you pretty much have to have grown up in the water, preferably a lot of time in the ocean. And it's a mindset that allows you to remain calm and allow you to just relax, deal with it, because panic kills more people in the water than anything else. And so they really drill into you, don't panic.
At Wind and Sea, the lifeguards now have the injured surfer's neck immobilized with a C-collar.
You remember what happened? This guy was going left and just kept on going right into me. Ran me over.
When I arrived on this call, they had a C-collar on him, and they were making a decision on how they were going to get him on the backboard. It's typical for us to go ahead with full immobilization. It's not uncommon that we get word back from the hospital that they had a severe fracture, and if they had moved their neck even 1/4 of an inch either direction, then they could have been paralyzed. Beautiful, gentlemen.
All right, we're gonna slide them up a little bit. 1, 2, 3.
We're not doctors, we don't put them back together, but we stop any more damage from happening, we stabilize them, we package them, and we get them to the people that know what they're doing.
Even with the increased crowds on the coast, the rest of the afternoon is business as usual for the lifeguards. As the end of the day approaches, the gorgeous weather is setting the stage for a beautiful sunset. But for lifeguards, it's also creating a blinding glare, making it more difficult to see the swimmers still in the water. With a higher vantage point, guards in the main tower spot a swimmer struggling in the water.
He didn't show any signs that he was a non-swimmer, none, until he just went from 0 to 60 in about 1 second and completely panicked. Started to climb the ladder, managed to get a few hands up here and there, probably just to try to alert us, although we were clearly aware of his plight.
Would you like to dispatch? Dispatch. Set Surfboard, code 3, Mission Beach for a rescue. Rescue West, code 3 to Mission Beach for a rescue. Yeah, we're done. Rescue West en route.
The closest lifeguard on the beach is Shiloh Spangler.
He was right off the tower to the south. I took a board and went out. When I got out there, I went, oh no, he's not there.
It was hard to locate him once you got into the water, just because of the wave action. There's a swell running, and so you can't see him consistently because the ocean is bumpy and rolled. He was almost bobbing.
Unbeknownst to Spangler, the victim was swept 50 yards north from the point last seen.
Lincoln, could you use any resources from PP? Can you send a vehicle? One vehicle code 3, right side of the tower. Got a rescue. Looks like the person may have submerged before the lifeguards get there. Copy. Responding 1 unit code.
While the lifeguards in the tower can see the victim on the verge of submerging, Spangler is still unable to see that the young man has been pulled to the north. Lieutenant Lerma gets as many units as possible on the rescue.
Sam dispatch, medics to the Mission Beach main tower.
Dispatch copies medics to the Mission Beach tower. Possible near drowning.
All of the lifeguards' eyes are on the water scanning for the swimmer, but the glare is extremely bright.
There was a very severe glare, and if we can't see the victim, then we can't rescue him.
Dispatch copies rescue west, rescue south, staging a mission. Dispatch 2 Sammy's got engine 21, medic 21 responding, oceanfront walk.
Your guards are on scene, they have the victim. They're going to bring him in, have the medics respond to Mission Beach tower for evaluation.
We're gonna get you up to the tower, okay? Just go ahead. You just put him right in this truck. Just take him up to the tower. All right, let's go. Go ahead, get in the other side. Okay? Was anybody else out there with you?
No.
This was as close as it gets because he was in a state of distress. He was drowning for a good minute.
We got him on the board and we brought him in. He was tired, but I checked his lung sounds. They were clear. His sats were good. His vital signs were good. He's a strong kid, but it's kind of scary.
That was a very close call. That's about as close as you can get without drowning. It's amazing.
Clearly, if he didn't have a real keen survival instinct, then he'd be underwater right now. And that's the scary thing for all of us.
TSAM dispatch, our patient is going to be transported to Scripps, La Jolla.
Medic 21 to Scripps, La Jolla.
With the swimmer safely on his way to the hospital, the lifeguards prepare to close the beach for the day when they receive another startling call.
All units, we've received a 911 call of a missing swimmer off Crown Point.
An hour before dusk, lifeguards received a report from a woman who was swimming with her boyfriend at Crown Point shores, and she turned her attention somewhere else for about 5 minutes and then couldn't see him anymore.
The swimmer was last seen in an area of Mission Bay known as Crown Point Shores. Lifeguards immediately mobilized to begin their search, deploying a fleet of boats and a search helicopter.
We have a person that's missing in the water, then we'll start an initial search with whoever we have, including the lifeguards that are working the beach. They may or may not be dive team members. As the call progresses and we get people in, we'll continue through the call and work the call with as many people as we can get on scene.
As the lifeguards search, more information comes in about the missing swimmer. He's a local who swims the same course almost every day. But today, he's gone missing along that familiar route.
We call it the golden hour, in which we have an opportunity for someone to have a chance to be revived. And so for the first hour, we're in what we call rescue mode, where we're trying to get resources to you or to the person as fast as we can.
And once we got on scene, we learned that she never really saw him go down. She never saw him in any distress. We have a general direction, but we have no real knowledge of whether he went to some direction unknown to us. So the area was expansive.
After a 2-hour rescue operation, it is now totally dark. Lifeguards make the tough decision to call off the search.
I see to all units, we're terminating the search for the night. Dive team will assemble in the morning.
Today's search is finished. But for the lifeguards, their job is far from over. At daybreak, the San Diego Lifeguard Dive Team assembles for their mission.
From everything we heard from the RP, this is where he goes. There's no reason to go elsewhere.
At that time, they did run a helicopter search of the area, and the boats searched the area also. Nothing found, and the determination was that this was a recovery, not a rescue mode.
Dive team is a group of individuals composed primarily of the lifeguards. We've also got the medical examiner's office, several people from the police department, and we all come together whenever we have something involving the water that requires a response, whether it's investigation, whether it's a recovery or a rescue.
What we have strived to do is just have a team that can handle anything that happens at all.
We've got underwater scooters that we use. We've got sonar that we use. We've got underwater communications, buoys, lines, grids. With all the sophisticated equipment, we have divers. And divers and their years of experience and knowing the coastline and knowing human behavior tends to be the best thing that we have.
With the dive team briefed and assembled, they head out to Mission Bay to begin their search. If the man is still in the water, there is little to no chance of survival. But until the lifeguards find him, the family on shore won't have closure.
We had to start planning for a big search, and the way that normally goes is you try to establish a last seen point, then we try to develop a search area, and then we start to determine what our search patterns are going to be underwater.
While the reporting party initially took her eyes off the missing swimmer for only 5 minutes, she waited over an hour to contact the lifeguards. This made it difficult to establish a reliable point last seen and search area. Using analysis of the tides, wind, and information from the reporting party, divers begin their search. To execute the precision search over such a vast area, the lifeguards utilize several high-tech tools, including handheld sonar.
And it's just like a radar gun that the CHP officer would use on the freeway. It will send out a narrow band of ultrasonic waves into the water, and it will return back to you in the form of a sound. A scuba tank may have a higher pingy sound, where as organic material, a body or something like that would have a different sound. That it will tell you what the distance is from that item.
The San Diego dive team set out on their search, looking high and low for the missing swimmer. If the man drowned, it's likely that his body would be on the bottom of the bay, which is where the lifeguards begin their search. Lieutenant Nick Lerma is the incident commander for the mission.
My job as the team leader is just making sure that we have the right amount of people, that we have the right equipment, and in this case, that was just air, sea, land. We plan to have a helicopter continue the aerial search, contacted some of our neighboring lifeguard agencies, Del Mar lifeguards, called them in. They had about 20 divers combined.
With the addition of Del Mar's divers, the search team is approaching 40 members. Since Mission Bay spans over 2,000 acres, the more divers, the better. While today's rescue is in the calm, shallow waters of Mission Bay, the dive team often responds to calls in another unique area of San Diego.
We have something called Wreck Alley, so there's a few wrecks right off Mission Beach that you can go to, and that's a pretty popular dive spot.
Wreck Alley is roughly 1 mile off the coast of Mission Beach. It's a large collection of sunken items made up mostly of old ships. With much of this debris scattered more than 100 feet below the surface, this is an area only for advanced divers. And the lifeguards know that one ship attracts more divers than any other in Wreck Alley.
The Yukon's a approximately 350-foot Canadian destroyer that was sank for sport diving. As the wreck disintegrates, it gets a little more challenging for some divers. And on certain days, there's a decent amount of surge moving over the wreck, which will throw you around. We don't recommend penetration dives on it unless you're a skilled, experienced wreck diver.
At the heart of the Yukon is an extremely dangerous area known as the boiler room. In 2005, Sergeant Harris ventured into the boiler room to find a missing diver.
The boiler room had been sealed, and we were under the impression that it was still sealed until we found an opening to it. It's kind of a tricky area simply because the ship sits on its side. If you can imagine walking down your hallway at home, but you're walking on the walls, everything's off kilter. You're a little disoriented at times. It's 100 feet deep, and then you've got to drop through an open elevator type shaft. It's just an open shaft. And then you're in an area of a hallway, and so it's about another 40 feet down the hall. Chris Ingalls and I stopped at the entryway, and I had him hold his light into the hole and then feed me line off a rec reel. When they sank that ship, they put all the debris that could be a problem for divers into that one room. We had catwalks and wires and cables and pipes. It all became piled by the entrance. I went in to the boiler room. I had to go through what we call the debris field. It was about a 15-foot area. where I was able to kind of just tuck my hoses in, crawl through that area. Once I got through there, the room opens up into a kind of a 3-floor huge room with big boilers. The problem with closed off areas like that, every ledge, every screw, every hole has a certain amount of dust on it, or silt as we call it underwater. It's quite easy if you move rapidly to silt out a compartment where you can't see your hand, even if you're holding it to your mask. Most time fatalities, you find them on the bottom, so I was concentrating on looking on the bottom, but there was an area about 40 feet across the room that I couldn't see. Once I got to that final place where I couldn't see, I thought he would be there for sure as the last place, you know, on the ship that I hadn't looked. And as I came around the corner, I looked down and he wasn't there. And so at that point, I'm like, okay, it's time to get out of here. And so I'm making my way back, and as I turned, something caught my eye, and I looked up, and the individual was suspended above me about 10 feet. And he'd gotten silted out and caught into some pipes and some rigging that was there. It took another 3 dives to come up with a plan and to extricate him a little bit at a time. So I went back 3 times over the next couple days to move him a little bit at a time without silting out the compartment. Yeah, that'll likely be the most challenging rescue that I'll have. It was definitely above and beyond what we normally have. We identified that before the ship was sank. That was why we didn't want divers in there. That's why we had it closed off. And unfortunately, some people decided to make access.
Back in Mission Bay, the recovery effort is still in full swing. Divers from San Diego and Del Mar are combing the sea floor. Meanwhile, helicopters search from above. Then, word comes in of a possible discovery.
Dispatch to 2 Lincoln. 2 Lincoln. We have a 911 call of a possible body sighting.
After hours of searching, the lifeguards get new information. A body has been sighted 1 mile south off an area known as Ski Beach.
It looks like from the call from last night that the individual has been discovered here off of Ski Beach.
Just stand by until we get confirmation.
So right now we have Rescue 3 on scene with the body that's been discovered.
A local fisherman was on his way out of the bay when he came across the missing swimmer floating, lifeless, on the surface.
The other boat's coming over to render assistance on getting him out of the water.
It was found by a passing vessel that was outside of our initial search area. So we were able at that point to recall the divers, go over and take care of the body.
One unique, extremely valuable member of the San Diego dive team is Deputy Medical Examiner Craig Nelson.
Until the body is found, I really just consider myself a regular member of the dive team. Then once the body is found, I'm able to contribute in my own specialty of being able to perform an on-scene examination of the body and help the lifeguards identify what all we might need to document on scene and as the body comes back to the dock, until I can meet with one of our investigators and arrange for the body to be transported back to the office.
After a brief examination of the body, lifeguards confirm the identity of the missing swimmer. The search is over.
Guardian 1's on our RV.
While the dive team's process is very technical, at the heart of every mission is a very personal aspect.
I've been on the scene where, hey, the family's waiting on shore for us to bring their loved one back, and so we take that all into consideration.
We are successful at what we're doing most often, and it brings closure to families who are desperate for closure. It's so important because there are so many people that are affected by one death that we can bring closure to a lot of different people and extended families, and that's what we're here for.
While it's startling and it's uncomfortable at times, it's good to know that at the end of the day, you're able to give closure to somebody.
For the lifeguards, death is never an easy thing to deal with. But it is a stark reminder of the importance of the job that they do day in and day out.